and you know what? We were supposed to be on the air, on the internet. I was so wrapped up on James being so upset on this. I just now hit the button because we weren't even broadcasting other than Facebook Live. So the people right now, I'm just going to do a quick recap, okay? Ronald Farnham is not connected with Night Dreams Talk Radio After Dark. He never has been connected with my show. As a courtesy, I carried him on my network every other week. He paid me $100 for 4 months to carry him because I knew money was tight for him. I did it as I thought for friendship. But, when he infringed, and this is what I'm going to tell everybody again because now people are listening on the internet, is that he took my logo 3 times it happened. My name, my show, my logo, my artwork, and implied that he was, the host of the show. And that upset me. The first time I contacted him, he said, I have a bad memory. I forgot. I didn't know what to do, actually. That's another word he used. He didn't know what to do. And I said, well, gee, Ronald, I sent you the artwork. Oh, I forgot. I said, yeah, but I sent you the artwork for the network, not my show. Why are you using my show? No answer. 2 weeks later, it happened again. And then, another couple weeks later, it happened a third time. And the third time I lose a radio station that just started picking me up. The program director went back and started listening to some of my shows and looking at my Facebook, account and saw this Ronald Farnham thing. So clicked on it thinking that Ronald Farnham was maybe my show. Maybe I changed my name or something. And he was in total shock when he heard somebody talking about, well, hey, submit to your bank a promissory note for $1 million. And that's what he did. He submitted to some financial institutions promissory notes and then tell people pay your tax debt, pay whatever with a promissory note. Okay. Then it got more stranger and more stranger and more stranger to the point where, I felt somebody could get hurt from his advice. And this is for the people now on the internet. This is why Ronald Farnham Show is no longer on my show. And then to retaliate against me because I pulled the plug on him, he started using, and again, I didn't know every conversation we ever had on the phone, he was recording it. Anything I said to him, I thought was confidential by texting him or emailing him, he used it on his YouTube account show, the Ronald Farnham Show. He used everything I ever typed to him, said to him, to slander me. And I never said anything other than, this is why I can't carry your show. And then he wanted his money back. Well, he paid me $100 for 4 months. And I told him after I canceled, I said, okay, I'll give it to my CPA and figure out how much I owe you. It might be $20. It could be $25 or $50. I wasn't sure. And then he pressed me a couple of times. And I said, well, maybe it's $40 or $50. I don't know. CPA told me, Gary, this guy's cost you thousands of dollars. Why would you even give him anything? Plus, I had her time involved in doing the accounting on it. There was $100 and some bill from her. No, he's not getting a cent from me after all what he has ever put me through. I was going to send him, seriously, this week, before all this happened, I was going to refund him $40. I had every intention when I would, because I'll be honest, I was up all night working on my show, booking people. I get a lot of emails all across the world about my show. I take the time and answer every email I get, which is hundreds a day. And I respond to every one of them. So I was up late last night responding to them. And, I was in bed with you, not with you, but I never would say that. Anyway, I was in bed this morning when I was talking to you or chatting with you. And, when all this went down, and I figured, no, this guy's not going to get a cent from me. If anything, it's going to be the other way around.
Yeah, and wouldn't it be ironic if you sent him one of his promissory notes that he's telling everybody that he's spooning to everybody to write?
Yeah, maybe I should do that. I'll send him a promissory note payable through the Department of Treasury or whatever it is, Federal Reserve. I'll write a promissory note payable through the Federal Reserve to them. Yeah, for $40.
Wouldn't that be ironic? At least you'd be speaking his language. He'd understand that.
Yeah.
He should understand. He should understand that then.
Well, he should have understood that when he went to jail for a little period of time and wouldn't admit to anything and tried to make the jail and the police pay him for his time in jail. I don't understand this guy. Is my time of patience with people are not what it used to be. When I have a guest on my show, as everybody that knows me knows, I was a friend of Art Bell. I was retired. He talked me in coming back. And I figured, okay, I'm going to come back and it's going to be a hobby. Nothing more than a hobby. The first year my show really sucked. I'll be honest with you. It was bad. I came and listened to them. That's how bad they were. But in the last few months, I got the click in it because I've been in radio off and on since 1976. Gee, I've been retired for quite a few years. I get back on. Times have changed. I haven't kept up with the paranormal. I got all back in tune to what's going on. And I'm not going to have it damaged from somebody who's out there on Mars.
No, I can validate personally. I know personally that you put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into your show. And I mean a lot of hours and a lot of effort and a lot of money into it. You can't have somebody that's going to slander you who's actually done you wrong to begin with. That's what's ironic about it. He's used your stuff on the guys that it's him and it's not, and it was false, and then he's turned around and you're at fault. That's crazy.
Well, yeah, and people don't realize too. Some of the hosts, actually, I'll be honest. Every one of the hosts I carried, except for Ronald, okay, they didn't know what type of equipment they needed. And I was out of my heart. I sent one of them a microphone because his microphone sounded like what. And then the other one, I sent him or I had him come over. I gave him a computer system. I gave him a boom arm. I gave him a microphone and gave him other equipment. I didn't charge him anything. I just gave it to him and said, okay, that way you have a good sounding show. I even gave you stuff. And I've been more than fair with people, not asking anything from anybody.
Plus all the money that costs to ship all that stuff. Just that alone, that probably covers past $40. My goodness.
Oh, I don't know. But, I'm the butthole. I'm the asshole. And I'm just venting today because I normally don't do this. It just rubbed me wrong when all of a sudden I get all these text soundings on my frickin' phone, right? And all of a sudden, I just got another one. On my phone, right, saying that this guy on YouTube is slandering you. And I go to myself, well, who could it be? I treat every guest, with total respect, and I have never been rude to a guest on my show ever.
No.
And then I go on to the link they send me, and here it is, Ronald Farnham, saying how I welched out and then and not paid him his money back. And then another link to the first one he did where he said that I kicked him off the show because of, his views on stuff. And he even implied that the radio stations were basically making me cancel him. That wasn't the case because the radio stations never carried him. Okay? Right. They only carry my show. They never carried Ronald Farnham. He has no radio stations listening to him at all. Zero. Nada. And, and that upset me because he was lying to his little audience he has, making it like, he got kicked off of my show and all these radio stations. No, a radio station thought he was part of my show or me because he infringed again on my logo, my name of my show, taking my artwork and then saying the Ronald Farnham Show. He implied he was me 3 times.
Yeah, that's like bait and switch and false advertisement. And the thing is, it comes back on you, and he did it against permission and everything else. He knew better, and he knew better not once, twice, but 3 times he did it.
Well, what I done today is I contacted YouTube my attorney has contacted YouTube to have his show removed, at least those two, then have him review his shows where he's telling people, not to, that the United States is not a government, it's a corporation, and you shouldn't be paying your bills with, your hard-earned money. It should be done with IOUs. So they need to look at, carrying his show because he's giving out bad information.
Yeah, I would say so. My goodness, if somebody actually listens to that and follows and does what he says, they're going to be in for a rude awakening somewhere. They're going to get tasered somewhere down the line. It's not going to be good.
Well, they might be spending a few weeks in a jail cell, and spending a lot of money with the attorney to get out of that jail cell. Come on. There is people that are naive, and I'm not saying that it's their fault, but some people are naive. So you have somebody who claims they were with the DOD for 15 years, which he wasn't for 15 years. And if he wants to exaggerate on that, do you want to take your risks of your hard-earned money and your marriage and everything you have acquired, maybe to take a chance to lose it if you have all of a sudden pay thousands and tens of thousands of dollars for attorney fees to bail you out because you listened to some yoho on YouTube?
Wow. Not worth it. It's not. I can assure you it won't be worth it. That will be a rough one right there. And I can assure you that if you went cry to him, hey, I did what you said, he's going to act like, I don't know you. See ya. Get out of here.
Yeah. So other than that, how's everything going? I hear you're going to be putting up your new background.
Oh, man, I got it up today. I worked on it all day today. It was like 100 degrees in here, but I got it up. It's looking good. Got my bookcase up. I did a little live video to show it. And, hey, I'm looking forward this Saturday night, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. My guest, Patrick Cross, is going to be on. It's going to be a great guest, great show. Hope everybody tunes in.
Well, yeah, you do have a good audience. Now, here's the fact, okay? You were only doing, before we met, you were doing Facebook Live. That's how I met you.
Right.
And I saw something in you, and I said, hey, I think you should, do a show on my network. And then when I made the decision to pull the network, I offered you a spot on Night Dreams Talk Radio on Saturdays. And you have come a long, long ways. And you have built up a very good listenership and a fan base.
Oh, thank you very much, Gary. I take it serious. It's my passion. I put a lot of work into it. I work all week long on my show. I just don't, I advertise, I share, I study up on the guests and everything. I try to make the best show I can have.
Yeah, and it shows, okay? And you listen to me when I make suggestions, which that's good because, one of the hosts I had on, at one point when they were doing their, and I'm not saying who it was, but they were doing their Facebook Live, okay? And when I got connected with him, or somebody, connected him with me, he had hardly any, maybe 20, 30 people watching his Facebook Live. And, I spent a lot of time promoting his Facebook Live on Mondays. And at one point when I was spending, and it was, his show came on, his Facebook Live came on, and ended like 10 minutes before my show came on. So I was sitting there donating all my extra time with him even, took his Facebook Live audience up to almost 5,000 people. Okay? And, all of a sudden I started realizing again, okay, Gary's being used here. And I decided not to, share and do all the things I was doing with the guy's Facebook Live. And it dropped back down to 30, 40, 50, 20 people really fast. And, what can I say? It's got to the point where, I hate to say it, like my wife told me, Gary, think of yourself because no one else is going to think about you.
Right, and you do got to think about yourself and your show. And I can see the difference once you've got rid of, well, I don't know what you want to call it, the other people that were like weighing on you. They were weighing on you physically and mentally and spiritually. I could feel it. And once you released all that, man, your show has really taken off. Your listenership's come up. The quality of your show, the quality of your guests, all around is much better. And God bless you on that.
And I do want to say a shout out. I don't have my glasses on right now, so looking at the screen, plus I found out I have cataracts. So I was wondering why it was getting harder to see the screen, so I had to go bigger screens to be able to see.